Hello everyone and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts live stream. It's Sunday, February 5th, 2023, just after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. USA stock market earnings season continues this week. The variety of companies, there is some economic data, and we have some additional current events and news as well. So, last week's earnings, we had Apple, Amazon, Google, AMD, etc. Some of the big names causing volatility, Meta as well, especially. This week, we have a mixed variety of companies. We have some technology, energy, and some restaurant, food, and some travel companies. So we have Activision Blizzard, Pinterest, Spirit Airlines, Take-Two Interactive, Tyson Foods, Chipotle, H&R Block, Hertz, Royal Caribbean Cruises, Western Union, Disney, the return of Bob Iger, the CEO, CVS, MGM Resorts, Robinhood, Uber, Lyft, PayPal, CGC, Hilton, Kellogg, Pepsi, and Yelp, just to name a few. Some of these, Expedia, some of these bigger global/USA brands are reporting corporate earnings this week. We also have a Fed Chair Powell speech this Tuesday. It's just a speech. It's not the official FOMC press conference. That was last Wednesday. We also have trade balance data. Two FOMC members are going to speak this week. A bond auction, unemployment claims, UOM, consumer sentiment, UOM, inflation expectations, and the federal budget balance, which is probably related to the debt ceiling this week as well. In other news, the president of the USA, President Biden, is going to give his State of the Union address speech, apparently this Wednesday. USA stock market earnings season is continuing right now. We also have the Chicago Auto Show kicking off. In terms of Tesla and Twitter, Elon Musk was found not guilty of fraud over his Tesla funding tweet a couple years back in 2018, I believe. Political tensions are rising between China and USA because of what happened with China's spy balloon in USA airspace, which got shot down. Japan is going to restrict chip manufacturing machine exports to China. Europe is banning Russian diesel imports and other refined oil products because the sanctions have not been as effective as we have thought. The Bank of England raised the bank rate by 50 basis points, but the governor did say that he sees inflation turning a corner. The USA FOMC, we raised our interest rate by 25 basis points, and Chairman Jerome Powell does see the disinflationary process starting. So it's a lot of news to digest from last week, and we're heading into this week. Now, in terms of stock prices, hello everyone, welcome on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. In terms of stock prices, we have been in this rally for basically 1 month. It's been almost 40 days, calendar days. We've been in the rally. Now, where are we going to go from here? All right, it's still a little bit earnings dependent. We need to see some good data coming out. I mean, the jobs report on Friday is we had too many jobs added in January and the unemployment rate actually fell. That's the opposite of what we need to see right now, but it's all about labor. It's all about jobs right now as well as inflation. So in terms of the price, what I'm looking at on S&P 500 is still in this bullish uptrend since October 2022. We had our inverse head and shoulders, which is bullish, with our neckline breakout. This is also an idea on my profile, long-term idea for about 1 to 2 years. Now, if the measure moved from all the way from the bottom to the top, let's use strong magnet, would be about 17%. At least the right shoulder would be 6, so about 12% average from the breakout spot, which we just broke out above. So 12% still would take us to about 450 on the S&P 500. The intermediate resistances, there are many. So 450 is kind of our big target up here, but we also have resistance at 427 or 4. We just broke above 408. Now, if we zoom in, if you're a swing trader or intraday trader, you know we're anticipating a pullback. Yes, it is on the uptrend, but how high can the higher high go before we get the next pullback down? The support is probably 408, right at this blue line, the upper blue line. Because if we use a Fibonacci extension to estimate forecast, we just hit a 0.618 Fibonacci retrace. The shorter term EMAs are on the up cross. We could end up pulling back down to about 407 or maybe even 400. But 407 is the support before we try to get another higher leg up to about 426 or 430. So that's something I'll be watching out for. On the weekly, clearly a large head upside down head and shoulders. Still, the 13% volatility is in play. Getting just a little bit of bearish divergence, a little bit of bearish momentum. Just want to watch out for that. But 13% would take us back to 2022 all-time highs. Want to watch out for that if that's going to happen. So I'm keeping an eye on that if the uptrend reversal is going to continue to the upside. Now let's move on to QQQ. QQQ. A lot of tech stocks enjoying that Facebook Meta euphoria corporate earnings pump, which was great. But we're getting into a little bit of a gap down right now. There is a little bit of this gap support right at $300. $300. Okay, I know there's a lot of lines on the screen. But if we see we had this triple bottom, higher low, higher high. All right, we didn't quite hit the 330. It might hit 330 price. I'm talking about this resistance in the future, 3 to 6 months from now, maybe another earnings cycle. We do want to watch out for. I'm going to bring up a Bollinger Band on the screen here. We just popped out of that Bollinger Band. It's going to pop back down on the inside. 4 hours. It's still in the up cross in terms of the EMAs. Now high, low, high, low, high. We're trying to get the higher low. Could be support right at $300 before we bounce up to the upside. There is significant amount of bearish momentum in a lot of stocks. There's an overwhelming, it's overweighted bearish right now in the medium term time frames, like 4 hour, 1 hour. I looked at it before, I looked at hundreds of charts before I started the stream. Is in the long term, they're still bullish, like a daily or like a weekly, still bullish in the weekly. But when you get into this 4 hour, 1 hour, you're starting to see some bearish, a little bit of bearish pullback. 5-minute 15 was still a little bit of bullish, which means the day traders might see a little bullish bounce attempt, whereas the swing traders are going to try to find the support and hold the support. So bears might try to attack the support down, might get a pop up, right? Equilibrium, break down to the downside, and then dip buyers on the swing trading will try to buy that to the upside. So needless to say, this is why I have no FOMO charts mentality and style and strategy is I try to buy low, and sell high somewhere for a trade. Investment is different. You still want to buy low and then hold, generally. On the weekly, we do have our higher low, our weekly Morningstar pattern made out of hammer candles, basically higher high. I do not see a shooting star yet, so I'm anticipating this to go higher in the future. Unless there's some bearish news that happens. Let's go to Dow Jones. Dow Jones, slightly different animal. Okay, so Dow Jones is, we had the 5200 EMA cross, up cross, which is bullish, and we're holding above that 200 EMA, and now we're stuck in this channel going sideways, which is plus or minus about 4%. We haven't broken out above it yet. Let me get some cleaner lines. Basically a sim triangle play with a range of 3 to 7%. So about 4 to 5% average. We haven't broken out, but if we do, it'll hit our upside target about 362. Weekly, want to watch out for just in case if we had the double top pullback. Yes, the day trading bears shorted that, but good earnings reaction. A little bit of momentum is fading right now. It makes sense with the psychology of FOMC saying we're starting to see inflation come down, but we still have a ways to go, months, maybe a year. So you might be wondering, well, are there opportunities? There still are opportunities. Depends on if somebody's a bull or they're a bear. If somebody's a bear, we're looking for overbought conditions, or we're looking for a really high pop up to try to short that down. If somebody's a bull, we're looking for dips. All right, let's move on. I'm trying to go faster today, cover more ground, more stocks. We'll quickly we'll just take a look at gold. All right. So what happened on gold is we had a gap down. Remember, I was saying we got to watch out last time. Yes, we have the golden cross, but we're kind of overextended on this gold. We had a gap down because of what happened with DXY. There's like an inverse correlation there. But we had this resistance about below 182 and then gap down. So if you're a crypto trader, you want to watch out for this happening on Bitcoin as well. It's not going to crash down to zero. It's just a pullback because we had a euphoric uptrend rally and it needs to cool off a little bit. So Bitcoin will get to that. You just want to watch out for this pattern. If we lose a major support level of like on Bitcoin and even for gold, this could happen. It's very gap down. Obviously, day trader is going to try to nibble at that, try to dip by that a little bit, but just watch out on that. We had nice gains on gold. There is this first large bearish candle at this point in time, just below 186. Yes, there's a lot of plenty of momentum, but we're starting to see just a little bit of cracks in the armor of gold. Silver as well. Watch out for this pattern because it might happen on the Dow Jones itself. Is we have an uptrend and then go sideways, consolidation, we have a breakdown of support right to our target. So it could go as low as $20. I'm sure some dip buyers and some people are going to try to defend $20. But this almost looks like, it's a perfect rounding top pattern. And it could go all the way down to 20, maybe even 1930s before we find some support. So it depends, right? It depends. This is looking eerily similar to March 2022, but that's because we had the Russia-Ukraine war start and then everything crashed. So this time it could be different in the fact that inflation is ending. But we definitely went from a multiple bottom to a multiple top. So that particular swing trade is over, and that's why the shorts are attacking the stop losses. U.S. oil as well, we had this rounding top rejection below the resistance trend line, and now the downside target could be as low as $60 or even lower. Let me get some Fibonacci up here. Fibonacci from low to high, and right in the 618 range. It could bounce around in this pocket between $64 and about $62 for some time. Let's measure this. About 4%. We went about 8, almost 8%. It's about 7%. But 8% would be about $64. So if it pierces down to about 62 or even 60, let me put 60 down here. You want to watch out for that as maybe a potential bounce trade. But sometimes U.S. oil and natural gas does not respond to technicals. So you just want to watch out for that, especially with UNG. Resistance right here, 71, but before we move on. UNG as well, right? If I turn everything off, yes, there's a technical chart set up, but because of what's happening, because of sanctions and whatnot, this thing is getting shorted down to oblivion. I am still waiting, though, for a potential lower high bounce because we went low high and it went way low. So if we get any bounce at all, it could be a 20% trade if possible, but it's death crossed, and I'm going to need to see some stronger evidence that it's going to bounce because I tried to trade this one time. I got stopped out, but I had phenomenal gains on the Meta Facebook earnings trade, which popped about 10 to 17% very quickly. That was last week, so no worries there. What I need to see here on UNG is a breakout. This is a pretty serious, very, very strong downtrend, just riding it to the downside. And I want to see, because we had this large head and shoulders, we had a large one here, and then we had a little baby one inside. We had double bearish head and shoulders. Where's the neckline? The neckline is this, very large. It could have been negative 80%. That's why the bears got very excited. Negative 40 to negative 80%. We already went about negative 50% from that breakdown. From top to bottom, it's negative 76%. Now I got to back up all the way. It's almost back down to 2021 lows. So now it's literally, how low can natural gas go before the bears give up? This kind of looks like a little bit possibly a climax sell-off, but at the same time, if the market is going up, like tech stocks and finance, we have been seeing energy and health stocks coming down as well. So I do want to see maybe a little bit of support or a little bit of at least something instead of just pure down, is what I'm saying. At least a little sideways or a little bit of this so we could get a little relief rally going on. But sometimes UNG, the technicals sometimes don't work on it. Let's take a quick look at DXY. We didn't do that last time. But DXY, the dollar currency index, we had a nice little pop up. That's why gold and silver gapped down in reaction to that. So what I'm looking for is, again, this trend line breakout. Is it going to break out above that or not? Because if it doesn't really matter to me. But if it does break out above it, then we have something happen. We have something going on. In terms of the trend, obviously in a death cross below the EMAs, take our low to high, bounce right at that 50% as well. So somebody's playing that 50% retrace on the fibs, on the Fibonacci levels. Weekly, still in a golden cross weekly, very strong dollar. Dollar's too strong, basically. Now, the resistance point, right, probably about 103.69, somewhere in there. We did hit the 200 EMA on the 4-hour. We went from oversold to overbought, the basic 30 to 70 play. It could go to about 104. But again, it's in this downtrend, so it might just get shorted down. We hit 104, 105, and then short down again until something happens. Just watch out for that. So let's take a quick look at the VIX. I remember last time, there's a very short-lived, like it was like a one-day trade last week for volatility pullback on the VIX. But in terms of fib levels, we just lost that 0.88. We just lost that 0.88. So it's really up to SPY here. If we get this pullback, that's okay, like I said, but we need to hold above 405 and try to get a higher low going on. All right, let's take a look at some of these earnings plays. The screen is about to get really bright. All right, before we move on, we have a couple comments here on TradingView. Yes, I was looking at SQQQ before this. SQQQ, the ultra short QQQ chart, does have a hammer on the daily. Again, we could get a pullback. That's what I'm saying. That could at least of a couple percent. That's good. SPX, somebody says Gravestone Doji. Perfectly fine, right? Perfectly fine. SPY on the daily. It's just it's a pullback. It's a gap down actually. But that's, you're looking at, this person's talking about one candle patterns, single candle patterns. I'm talking about 3-month price patterns as well. So if you're trying to capture a short-term trade, I would recommend looking at the intraday because it's very easy to see. It's much easier to see what's going to happen with the price on a 15-minute or 1 hour, right? Because that's one thing. It depends on somebody's perspective, right? Somebody could look at one candle, like this one candle here, like, oh, gap down, or this, or a little hanging man. But it's like if you zoom out, is what's going on in the big picture, in the big picture. And then someone is asking on trading view, earning surprises can be good, opportunities sometimes. Yes, for me, it really depends. Like on AMD and Meta, for example, this is not a recommendation, but for AMD, right? If we're talking about general long strategies, okay, buy low, sell high. There's entry right here. We don't even need to know why. In terms of, we don't need to know all the news. The earnings are very important though, because earnings for tech, if it's really bad, it could crash down -10 to -25%. We just saw that with like EA last week, or in the past, AMD has crashed significantly, or Nvidia as well. So I typically, personally, I don't like to just gamble on earnings, but someone can make an educated forecast based upon all the available public information. And then, but for me, I'm a technical analyst, so I just play price, right? If this is starting to go up, you have decent earnings, boom, it's a short squeeze. Here, there was multiple entries right here, the lower support and the higher low as well. All right, let's look at some of the list here I'll put on the side. Just go down the list really fast. All right, these are earning plays, or earnings volatility. ATVI, Activision Blizzard video game company, they're having some issue with the SEC possibly blocking their deal with Microsoft, the merger buyout. That could be a problem. So this gap up was based on that news. So that's probably the biggest news that's going to happen out of this company aside from regular earnings. It's just stuck between this range, which is a large range, plus or minus 10%. I want to watch out for that. But the immediate support, I'll call it out, 71.35, the resistance 81.25, and we'll just watch out for those earnings. Pinterest, kind of this older social media company, but I've been following Pinterest on stocks for a while now, since the IPO price. And once we hit this 0.88 low level, I mean, there was an entry here. Almost every stock looks like this pattern right now. So what we want to take away from this is there's always, in hindsight or in reality, in real time, there's always this low, and then taking that risk on whatever stock you're trying to do. This risk happened to pay off. What was the risk to reward? Basically like a 15%, and right now it's at 40% gain, which is normal for this kind of action. But Pinterest, we'll see here in the uptrend, rising wedge pattern. So where's that immediate support level? 2440. The breakout resistance has to break out above 30. So watch out for that. Eventually, this thing might go to $40, as I'm seeing with a lot of the smaller cap stocks these days. All right. Let's take a look at Tyson Foods, because Tyson Foods, they make a lot of chicken products, frozen chicken, and especially what's happening with the inflation and the price of eggs, etc. You might want to just, I might keep an eye on this on the side. Tyson Foods didn't quite hit its low of all time for the pandemic, but bouncing between the 786 and the 618 here. We do have this trend line on the upside, on the top side, and we have this descending wedge pattern. What we want to watch out for, it's right in the middle. Right in the middle. Very interesting. We have a resistance and we have a support on the downside. This reminds me of many stocks right now. We had a crash, and then we're going sideways because all investors, traders are saying, wait a second, if inflation is going to stop, then isn't that a good thing? Shouldn't we reverse up to the upside in like 6 months or 1 year, 2 years from now? Possibly, yes. What's looming on the horizon, though, especially with what's going on with Asia right now between China and Taiwan and China and US and China and Japan as well, and with the Russia-Ukraine war still affecting inflation and energy prices all over the world, and especially in Europe, is there's actually a little bit of hope because inflation is starting to come down. And COVID especially. If COVID kept going up, this probably wouldn't happen, right? Like this with a lot of stocks. But COVID's been going down. If you even look at the charts like I have for the past 2 months, it's been in a downtrend, the infection cases. So it's good. Now, the support level at $59, and we have a $69 resistance target. Chipotle. Chipotle Mexican food, which is this stock is, I think, needs a stock split, is $1,700, mostly institutionally held, very expensive stock. But Chipotle usually has some support if I really look at the charts here in the backside. Now, we had this triple bottom here, potential upside down head and shoulders. Even if I don't want to believe it, I kind of look at Chipotle as this needs like a 10-to-1 stock split. So this is only like $169 in my mind, not 1,692. If this measured move actually completes itself, it could be 30% all-time highs to 2269 if it happens. If it happens. Because it is an ascending triangle pattern. There's several stocks like this right now. I'll take a look at a couple other ones later. Literally 30% is trying to break out. It could fake out, so I'm not going to push this too hard on somebody. But the dip buys or the breakout play. The dip buys have a higher chance, but we already had 2 of those. Now we have a potential earnings play. The rest of the market in the medium term, again, might come down. That's what I'm warning people about. Long term, we might go up. Medium term, we might come down. Let's look at a couple more here. Let's look at RCL. We have to think about this. We have spring coming up here in globally, warmer weather. Summer, I'm expecting this summer to have a lot more travel. Therefore, maybe these cruise companies, these airlines, these hotel companies might have good earnings post-fact. Okay, RCL, just one of these. RCL has actually been in an uptrend since July. So last summer, we had increased travel, almost record highs. This reminds me of Netflix a little bit. It's coming into this resistance zone on this left side. We have resistance, and we just broke through this previous resistance at 64. So there could be potential upside for this in the future. Golden Cross, I'd love to see it finally, although with the lowest low way back here in $32, a beautiful play. High, low, high, low, high. So this is like the Dow Jones or S&P 500. We're trying to seek out a higher high. This one has earnings, so if it's bad, it'll sink back down to like a 55. If not, it could blast off to 70s. So just want to watch out for that. Do a couple more here. Western Union. Western Union, not the most popular company or financial platform, but right at resistance is trying to break out. We have these trend lines here. So the ultimate low play was back here in October for a lot of stocks. We have earnings as well, but in terms of, you could see it. If it has good earnings, a breakout, maybe a little pullback on the day trade, and then other investors try to pick it up on the way up. So where would that be? Like a 1535 or 1662? Support at 1332 and 1219. We're going to watch out for that. Disney, the next big one. Disney, the return of Bob Iger, the CEO who, the previous CEO who helped with record profits for Walt Disney. This is when Bob Iger left the company, somewhere around here. That's why it started. I think it was this particular earnings right here on October 2021. And it's been downtrending. But we had this bullish momentum, this bullish divergence. Also, Disney hit kind of this low, pandemic low of price. Literally, it went down to the lowest, same price as the pandemic. PayPal is the same way. We'll take a couple look at those as what I'm looking at. Is broke out of the resistance. Very nice play. We also have this descending wedge pattern with it's already up 30%. So anybody trying to FOMO into this right now, just be aware of short-term volatility. It has a double top in the RSI, MACD bullish, MACD bearish momentum down, bearish momentum down. Where's the support right now? Support at 106.41, $100. We're looking at $100. $100. So the thing is for Disney, they probably cannot rely wholly on solely on their theme parks in California and Florida and Japan as well. It has to be more about streaming. It has to be about television. It has to be about movies, etc. The content there, the streaming services, and the competitive pricing and subscribers. So hopefully, the next entertainment content slate that's going to come out under Bob Iger, we'll see if that's going to boost the profits or not. Watch out for that. CVS Health. CVS Health in the downtrend. I'm anticipating, and this has been the trend for about a year now, the less COVID vaccines and shots that we need, the less value these health corporations are in the short term. So less COVID, less vaccines, less value, right? I'm talking about like Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson Johnson, CVS. They've all got shorted down. It was a beautiful short. Unfortunately, beautiful short, but if it was overvalued, I'll just say it like that. 110, 109 was this resistance point. It's hit the low here, going straight into earnings. There might be some spillover profits, but essentially this is a parallel channel play. Parallel channel play. Wow, large 20%. If it crashed 20%, where is that? $69. Wow. It's a triple top play. That's why I'm bearish. So I'm carefully watching this. There's a trend line down here, right at the support. Very interesting spot. Death cross is attempting to happen. Not quite crashed down out of that Bollinger Band, but the fact that it's going sideways, I'm very suspicious of this. Very suspicious of CVS. Okay, Hood. Let's look at Robinhood. So Robinhood was a great, nice little bounce play here. I got in some Robinhood at a relatively low level as a trade. And now I'm seeing, okay, on the weekly, if this thing has a higher low and the market's going to continue, I could see Robinhood going to $14 or $20. So at this point, in terms of the trade, this is not financial advice. This is just my thought process as for my own account. Is as an investor, there's still a 2-to-1 reward to risk. The 50% over time could take a year, could take 2 years. 50% to the 25% stop loss. If it's going to go back to all-time lows, 35%. So I might put some capital into this personally, Robinhood, after this earnings, because this, my theory, is that if inflation goes down and people start making more money and people start saving more money, and we put the inflation and COVID and recession behind us, or deprioritize those fears and start looking forward at the potential money-making opportunities in the stock market and the economy, is we can see, I can already foresee this, right? We project it out with the Fibonacci's, right? That would take us right into my 1272, 1618 target for that swing trade. But it has to break out above. It hasn't really broken out above $11 or $12 for a while. So I want to watch out for that in case it's going to happen or not. Post earnings, I'll be taking a quick little look at that. We'll do a couple more here. This might be very boring to some people, but these are some of the biggest global companies right now, at least in the USA as well, right? It's popular. Robinhood's popular for trading. PayPal as well. I know people hate on PayPal, but it's still one of the staple money transfer services. It's not the cheapest, but it still exists. Younger generation, they're using like Venmo, etc. Older generation and older businesses using PayPal. But for me, PayPal, I see, oh, I look at this, try to say, oh, double bottom. Nice. Bought some. Right? Just simple as that. Simple as that. Don't need to think too hard about it. And then also we have a breakout on this descending triangle. This is like a Bitcoin action type of play. If it happens, nice. 40% to the upside. I would like to capture that. 40% target is 115.51. And if I wait for a little bit of pullback on this, it's still a decent play, right? 40% the upside reward to risk, 20% downside on the investment. That's normal. It's lower price than the pandemic low. We had a double bottom at support back from 2018. Support levels looking nice to me. But PayPal kind of needs to innovate. What are they going to do to innovate and compete? It bounced off that 0.88, 786. Let's try to get a 618 retrace up to 134 if the market recovers. Earnings dependent. Watch out though, if they have terrible earnings for whatever reason or some C-suite executive change, $66, that line in the sand. We lose 66 bucks. Shorts are going to aggressively try to short this thing down to oblivion. CGC, Canopy Growth Corporation. It's a marijuana stock. You know, marijuana is legal in I forget how many states in USA, but it's a lot. And each state is recreational marijuana. So, you know, if your country is illegal, you know, just disregard this. But in America, some states it's for recreation or medical use. It's legal. Back in 2018, back in 2018, we had a phenomenal rally, 16, 17, 18, phenomenal rally. We're just talking about price right now. 2020, pullback. And then nobody cared about it during the pandemic because it's not happening. But what I'm getting curious about is, okay, if it's legal and people are going to go out more or buy more or just do whatever they want in their free time, I see the price going sideways. That is very suspicious to me. It's 100% range in here. Huge, huge. It's only a $3 stock, right? So if they have really bad earnings, crashing back down to like $2, same logic applies. We lose that $2. Ooh, it's probably going to get shorted down even more. But it's getting to that. It's not the lowest of all time. It was $1 back in 2015 before the MJ crash. But this almost looks like some kind of way, way below the 0.88 retrace, right? That's why there could be some future value here. It might be like a 5-year play, maybe even a 1-year play, but very interesting to me still. I haven't forgotten about CGC, although their earnings are usually abysmal. Let's do a couple more here. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it right now in terms of things are moving. Hilton. Okay, Hilton is different. On the weekly, you know, this company's been alive on the market for about 8 years now, 9 years. Now it's getting a little bit overextended. This is Dow Jones type of stock in the NYSE above our pivot. That's good. The fact that it never tested this 2020 low, it's a little bit, Hilton's too powerful. Basically, Hilton's too powerful here. Just riding this inside trend line right here, just riding that. So a lot of traders just playing the dip buy and then right before earnings say, you could see the immediate target 188. There's a whole blank space up here with support levels on the way down. Yeah, 50% retrace. That's why. That's why. All right. Let's move on to do a couple last ones. Do Kellogg. Kellogg makes food and snacks here in America. Strong uptrend. Very nice dip buying opportunities in the rising wedge to the upside. Had a little bit of trouble with this double top here at August 2022. But high, low, high. Where's the higher low? Right about 65 support. And then we'll try to get to $77 based upon their earnings on the weekly. They're almost at all-time highs. So Kellogg is kind of, you know, we have to think about it too, is are people going to stock up on emergency food? It's been going down, but Kellogg's been surviving. Do Pepsi. Pepsi, famous soda pop brand. PEP. Same thing with Coca-Cola, but Pepsi basically all-time highs. This is what is an interesting lesson to think about is even in the pandemic, people still have their staple foods or snacks. Like, what are we talking about? Even in a worldwide global pandemic, people still drinking soda, people still drinking coffee, people still eating cereal and snacks and frozen food and cookies and chips or whatever they want that makes them feel good or they need it, right? So that's why PepsiCo all-time highs. Even the pandemic, all-time highs, 100% investment. So sometimes, like chewing gum, it's like what Warren Buffett taught in his books is who has the greatest competitive advantage, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. There is no competitor unless you do like dollar soda out there. Some people do that, right? But still, it's in the uptrend. Very nice. However, once this thing starts to break down, you want to watch out for that. All the way, it could drop down all the way to 133. I'm getting a little bit nervous about Pepsi, right? Why are we at all-time highs? So just want to watch out for that. All right. Let's move on now. I'm sure some people wrote some comments. All right. Let's go to, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. All right. Let's go to crypto before people get too bored of the stream. Let's go to total, TOTAL. Total. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You want to watch out here. You want to watch out here. We had the double bottom. That measured move is already about like 24%. We hit the measured move, the second target right now. Hesitating right here. You could already tell if I pop open the RSI, we're going to have this bearish momentum, the bearish MACD cross. So be careful not to FOMO too hard on this one in the short term. Once we lose this little trend line support, once we lose that trend line support, want to watch out. Want to definitely watch out. The price is above the 200 EMA, that's good, but we hit our 1.04 trillion target from last time. And if I zoom out to a weekly, just starting to hesitate on the MACD histogram. Hit the 200 EMA. Hit the 200 EMA. So now we're stuck between 750 billion and 1.05 trillion. The halfway point is somewhere around 866 billion. It's not an uptrend yet. We have the start of this reversal. It could take a 1 year to 2 years. So looking forward, what do we have? What do we have? We have Litecoin halvening in August of this year, 2023. Litecoin halvening. Next year, in May 2024, we had the Bitcoin halvening. So because of those two and inflation coming down, recession risk basically notched down a little bit. And if people start making more money and saving more money, they could buy more crypto for trading and investing. It's going to take time, though. We just had this nice pop-up. The aggressive traders, investors, we all got in. We already bought some or traded or got some in right now. Now we're going to have to wait for this. Bears, they're waiting for their higher low. It could fall back all the way down to 964 billion, 894 billion before riding up again. Or it could just break out. It could just find very, very short-term support for like a day and then break out. All right, let's go to Bitcoin futures, what everyone's been waiting for. Bitcoin futures, a little bit different on this chart, the day chart, right? High, low, gap up, higher high, and it's getting stuck, just like gold. That's what I'm saying. Remember what I was talking about gold. Watch out. We're not going to get some gap down for like 1 or 2 days. The support level on this gap is literally 20,000. 20,000. High, low, higher high, higher low. So we could do 21,000 or 20,000 before trying to blast off again to like a 30,000. Do I want Bitcoin to go up? Of course I do. Of course, yes. But one trader generally does not control the market. The market controls, the big money controls the market, the whales. Whatever they do, buy or sell. Retail traders basically need to band together. Think Wall Street bets or Dogecoin type of effect. So Yes, we want to watch out. This week it has just started. The Asia session just kind of opened about an hour ago at my time. You want to watch out that we don't get an evening star pattern here and get this pullback. If we do end up getting an upside down head and shoulders, that's fine. I'll probably enter into a lot of altcoins here or here and then try to play that breakout to the upside in the future, but it's going to take time. Only good thing is, again, we broke out above this yellow line. We could test the yellow line, which is 20,000. Now, psychologically 20,000, I have a very large line going to the side like that. So bullish target, high, low, high is still, my bullish target is still 30,000. My intermediate target could be 20,000 for bears. Bitcoin USD. Now, last stream, I was saying, watch out, we had death cross. And if somebody did buy, there was opportunity. There was the 6% from last time, and that trade is over now. A lot of day traders took their profit on this one candle wick. Basically, inside bar, and we're opening again inside bar. So it's consolidating to me on the short term. How's a weekly chart? Consolidating. Now let's get some accurate lines. Resistance, support, very ugly megaphone pattern. Still in the uptrend in the 4 hour. Totally fine. Totally fine. It could drop down to 21,379, 22,764 before going higher. But what I noticed on my analysis before coming on stream is there are plenty of altcoins that in the long term can keep going up and keep mooning, okay? Meaning rally. So we're going to watch out for that. Hopefully this makes sense to you on Bitcoin of what might happen. To make it very clear for people, if I'm going too fast, is we could, in the short term, pull back down to 22,000, 21,000, or 20,000 before I believe the bulls will probably try to buy that at least at 20,000. If it comes down to 19, bulls are going to buy that and say, we're going to go up. So at some dip, there might be a second entry if it dips. If it happens to break out, let's say we only dip down to about 22,000 and we start the moon process with a rally, I need to see a close above 25,000. I need to see that. And then we need to not come down. Then you know it's the real rally. All right, let's go to Ethereum. Let me check the comments. Thank you for watching TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you for the follow. Donations are appreciated. If you have requests, just let me know before the stream ends in about 20 minutes approximately. Ethereum is same thing. Ethereum high, low, high, right? Consolidating right now. Let me just look at a weekly to get things started on Ethereum. Nice little sim triangle breakout. So I still believe Ethereum has anywhere to 50% to 100% upside. Actually, probably only 50% remaining. To about 2,000, 2,500. But how long is it going to take? Could take months. How long did it even take to get to this point? 231 days, right? More than half a year. So we want to watch out for that. It's going to take a long time to get out of here. But the reward might be worth the wait. Just starting to see a little bit of this pullback on the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. Hit this little nice oversold here on an hourly. If somebody is trying to play this, I'll watch out for that. The 4 hour, not quite, right? We could get this lower high. We hit a double top, lower low, lower high, and then see if we try to get a lower low, right? Watch out for that. All right, let's go to Binance Coin. Binance Coin. I like to see it. I like to see what? Golden cross. Let me see that. Why? The thing is, we're getting a golden cross, but the oscillators are telling me we're going to come down. So watch out for that. What does that tell me? So again, short term, medium term, we might come down on crypto. Long term, we might see the start of a new altcoin spring, a new altcoin rally into the future. Weekly, this is an old risk reward. Had a nice higher low on the weekly. Beautiful. Love to see it. 50% from the breakout. Is this going to be the real breakout this time to $500 Binance coin? Because we have to use our imagination. Low, or not imagination, but visualize in our minds. Low, high, low. lower high. Wait a second, trend change. Trend change. Now we're starting to get this trend change. Higher high, higher low. So where's my higher high? At least a 416 in the long term. Want to watch out for this 4-hour right there on the support trend line. So where could this trend line be? Right at this 312 support. You might want to try to dip by that. For now, I haven't seen a 4-hour oversold for many months now. The last time was the end of December. So I might have to try to dip by this. Because if you notice, the dip buyers, they are dip buying. Dip buy, dip buy. Sometimes, one time it's going to fail. Just in case it happens, this is what it looks like. Everyone's going to try to dip buy and then you fail. And then that's why a stop loss is needed. But I might try to enter, pick up some BNB anywhere here, either for a trade or for investment. No problem. All right, let's go down a little faster. Take a quick look at more of these cryptos. Keep in mind that the news that's happening between China and USA, if there's some kind of political tension, government sanctions, crypto sanctions, regulation changes, and worst case scenario, war, these charts are all going to change. So that's why we cannot ignore the news. I have the news running on in the background as we speak as well. All right, let's go a little faster now. Solana, beautiful Solana trade here. Watch out for this. Starting to flatten out. Solana has plenty of space to crash. I shouldn't say crash. Plenty of space to pull back. All the way down to 20 bucks. And then the dip buyers will probably try to save it. It is open. Solana. It would have been nice to see Solana go down more before it rallied, but it is what it is. Cardano, I'm on a weekly chart now. So I'm going to be looking at this from a investing perspective. So I'm under the presumption that we're going to get a pullback in the medium term, but I'm looking at a long-term investment perspective. We've been in this downtrend for so long. We break out this wedge. Where could we end up? 76 cents, even $1 Cardano in the future. That's what I'm watching out for. 25 cents, my stop loss. XRP. I was looking at XRP here at this multiple bottom before the stream started. 30 cents on this weekly. Now, if I believe that the market is going to go up and not crash down to nothing, is the measure move here about 40% in the sim triangle. So it could go 60, it could go 80 cents. That's why. Somebody's a crypto scalper. These charts might not help them that as much, but I'm more of a crypto investor. My style is more, let me buy low and try to make like 100%, not 1%. I don't day trade scalp crypto anymore. I'm an investor on the crypto side. I would trade cryptos more if the fees went to zero. All traders know if crypto exchange fees went to zero, oh yeah, I would definitely sign up. And if regulations opened up to more USA customers, definitely, I would go back. But right now, stock market is a little bit more reliable to me. Less fees on the trading side, and every day, every week, there's like a predictable, there's a schedule at least, and the charts, it depends on how good my charts are and my strategy, applying my strategy in real time. AVAX. Starting to get this weekly pullback. But I do like the fact that we had this bullish momentum, this bullish divergence on the weekly. It's a matter of time. Still in the downtrend though, if you really think about it. Low, high, low, lower, high. So it could crash down one more to $10, and then I want to see it. If it goes $20 to $80, that'd be phenomenal. That's 400%. Beautiful. Okay, don't take this the wrong way though. If I look at a daily, it's already had its 100% move. So you bet somebody is probably going to, swing traders are going to take their profit. To make this even more clear, we got a 4-hour. So in the uptrend, once we lose this lower trend line. This 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth time. We might lose that trend line. Test about 17. We have a fight here, somewhere around 1750. DOT. I like the chart of DOT better than AVAX because just on the technical side, it was much more close to this initial consolidation ICO price, at least on the Binance chart. That's why I like this play a little bit better. And I did explain this to the stream many times. That dot is very suspicious right here. And then we had like a nice rally of 65%. No sound? No sound. Okay. I don't know when the mic went off, but for Shiba Inu, all I was saying was basically we hit this higher low here at 800, 71% profit target reached. It might pull back here on the Shibu on the medium term time frames, pull back all the way down to maybe like a 1000. And long term, this could keep going up. So the fact that we're all down, just watch out for that, right? Downtrend, we have a reversal here, but on the daily, I was saying the big technical education lesson is it's daily uptrend price, but the oscillators are telling me bearish momentum, bearish divergence to the downside. The 4-hour MACD just crossed down. The 1 hour, it's not even at the oversold range. We have a head and shoulders on a 1 hour as well. So watch out for that pullback, -4 to -8% down on SHIB in the medium term. That's what I was saying. Okay. Hello again, Trading View. All right. We have a request from KC. Let's look at KC requests. Also, The live chat does not refresh well. So if it looks like I'm ignoring your comment, I'm actually not. I can't see it. So if it really looks like I'm not looking at your comment, maybe just repeat it, please. Or the YouTube comments actually refreshes better. So if you're on YouTube, I'll see that better. Sometimes I don't see a comment until after the live stream ends. I'm like, oh, there's a comment. So now I see it. Okay, ALGM, Allegro Microsystems. Okay. Before we get into we're going back to stock requests now. Let's go back to stocks. We'll jump back to crypto later. Allegro Microsystems. Let's see. It's in the NASDAQ. It's a semiconductor company. Okay. I could Google it for more information, but TradingView has the basics here. Volume, 1.9 million. Market cap, almost 8 billion. Shares flow, 65 million. Pretty small. Positive EPS. Good. No dividends. Reporting earnings in 3 months from now. Just take a quick look at the financials. All right. Quarterly revenue just edging up a little bit. Net income also edging up as well. 79-cent EPS. The balance sheet total assets increasing. The debt to assets also increasing a little bit. So it looks like they did some investing here on this pink line. Operating cash flow slightly down as well. But I like TradingView. You get to see a lot of this financials. So sometimes I like to take a peek in it just to see what's going on. All right. So now that we know it's in the NASDAQ, I might have to flip to a NASDAQ as well. Now, what we want to watch out for on these is what I call FOMO plays. All right. So obviously the lowest spots on the chart was about $20. This looks like the NASDAQ chart. High, low, high, higher, low, right at the 50 EMA off 30. Now it's in higher high land. We just had earnings. At least these two top line numbers were good. The EPS and the revenue beat the expectations. It's in a golden cross now with a gap up. However, in the short term, in the medium term, even on a weekly, the only thing good I'm seeing here on a weekly is at all-time highs now. Now, these kind of companies are tricky. They can be tricky because for these kind of newer, smaller companies is, okay, does all-time highs mean it's going to keep going up, or does all-time highs mean a fake out? It depends on the nature of the macroeconomics. You hear that a lot with the CEOs on these company earnings is the macroeconomics. What are they talking about? Supply chain. They're talking about Russia-Ukraine war, energy prices, inflation, consumer spending, strong dollar, etc. So you have to really understand this sector is that it's following companies like Taiwan Semiconductor, NVIDIA, SMH, the semiconductor ETF to the upside. So it just broke out. Now, why am I doing this such a long explanation is because I don't want people to get the wrong idea of just like, oh, this thing's going up. Let me just, ignore all the information and just look at this chart. Is we gotta put all the pieces of the puzzle together, especially with stocks. Before I even put your risk reward, we want to watch out for immediately I see bearish divergence on the daily. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's still in the up cross, so it's not a bad stock. It's actually, decent size cap. High, low, higher, high in this overbought range. Let's zoom in a little bit more. The 1 hour is good, but we're starting to see a little bit of MACD histogram pullback. But as long as the price in the 1, the 4, the daily is still in the uptrend, you're probably still good on the uptrend. Now, what I was saying about QQQ earlier, and I'll get to Orion's question on YouTube, is that in the medium term, we might see a pullback, but long term, we might see up rally. Now, where's the entry price? $42. The stop loss at 31, 34. The price target of 62. All right. All right, we'll just extend that top a little bit to get that 2-to-1 play. So it's basically, this is more like an investment play. Let me check one more thing. Let me check. Looking up ALGM on a different computer. 162. It's about $2, 162 ATR. So that would be, you're probably well in this the volatility range, right? The stop loss probably only need to be about 10%. So this is an investment. This is what Casey is probably showing for his or her own or trade here is this. Yes, we could say this $20 was the best buy, but high, low, higher, high. Just expect maybe it might pierce down into your stop loss. Just watch out for that into 35 before it keeps going up to the upside. Okay, but 25% stop loss, I mean, that's basically plenty of protection. Now it's just a matter of the position sizing, meaning personally, this is just me talking now for my own account. I personally would not all in on ALGM. I would pick something else, a little more diversified. But if you're doing it for a trade, if I'm doing it for a trade, small or medium sized amount of capital, that's actually totally fine. Worst case scenario, let's just say worst case, ALGM could crash all the way down to 27 or 20, but that means the whole market or this particular company needs to like fail hard. But for now, it's broken. Its immediate stop loss is 37, so your stop loss like covers that. But why did I spend 10 minutes on on this is because explaining more than just the 2-to-1 risk reward box is like looking at a company fundamentals, understand what it is, look at some data, then we get to the technicals for stocks. On stocks, I'm actually a hybrid. I look at both. All right. So Orion has a question from YouTube. What are my thoughts on the overall trend for the market this week? So if I always start my stream off with the general stock market, SPY, S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones. And then in the middle or towards the end, I do crypto. So we just finished crypto. But if I had to answer your question again, is long term, I believe the market is going up. For this week, I would watch out for some kind of mini pullback, a little pullback in the medium term time frames, just to get another dip going before we go higher. Just maybe watch out for that, right? We might set another dip up here, high, low, higher high, higher low to like a 400 to the upside. I want to watch out for that because we're still in uptrend. The only thing that can change things is like the U.S. government doing something that's going to just affect inflation in a negative way. But this is such a powerful pattern that, I put money on this pattern. I invested, I traded, right? Because I believe. Also, I put together the fundamental piece. For crypto, if you're asking about crypto, I also believe that medium-term time frames were going to come down just to test a level of support, right? It's already happening in the hour. It's in the uptrend on the hourly and the 4-hour, but there's significant. This is like Jenga. You ever play that board game Jenga where people stack the pieces before it falls over? That's what this is right here in crypto market. Because people are saying, "Oh, I missed the rally, FOMO," and then they try to get in, and then the short's going to dump on them, right? So you just want to watch out for that. That's why my mantra is always buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. In general. Sometimes it fails though, but buy low, sell high. So hopefully that makes sense to you that long term, I still believe stocks and crypto are both going up long term. Once we defeat inflation and the recession risk goes down a few notches for your respective country and government. Now, to close out, let's look at a couple more stocks and crypto that I was looking at, and then we'll just close off the stream. If you have a question, just go and ask me. I'll go a little bit longer. But what I wanted to also show was like on Nvidia, we had this beautiful upside down head and shoulders. So beautiful trade with the neckline. And so that's why if you look at SMH as well, the semiconductors, the same deal. Upside down head and shoulders to the upside, break that neckline, then you get that bullish momentum. Where should it go? It's like at 30%. How long is that going to take? That take us back to all-time highs, but how long is it literally going to take? Could take 9 months to a year, but that's investing. You got to hold for a year, right? Nvidia, watch out for that. eBay too. eBay's reporting their earnings as well. But you can see eBay as well had the reversal pattern, upside down head and shoulders with a neckline, buy, 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 either at the bottom or in the middle, or the neckline is the last chance. So that's why people getting this FOMO breakout here, but like about 20%. But if we look at the recent price action, this is the reversal, high, low, higher, high into earnings. If it's bad, pull back, then bulls are going to buy, defend, and then we're going to try to rally one more time. Applied materials as well. This caught my eye in terms of just showing people. Sometimes you just buy the bottom, right? Sometimes you could buy the bottom. Sometimes you could buy the higher low. I would advise against trying to buy the tops. That's what I'm trying to explain to people right now. Is people are here in the stream because everything's green, right? People are interested. 3 months ago, nobody was in my chat. There were days on the stream, there was nobody said a single word, right? So there's the social aspect of that as well, is that if everybody's talking about stocks and crypto that is green and up, you kind of know relatively at the short term, we're at a high point relative in the short term, right? But for me as an investor, I know if we get this 50 EMA, 200 EMA up cross, if this thing is real, then we should see the market rally for 1 to 2 years. If it sustains above that level. We broke above the 200 EMA, beautiful, 105. Let's see it happen. Let's see it happen. Let me see the 50% gains on this thing because of manufacturing and sales and demand. Let me see it. It's going to take time though. All right. Hopping back to crypto, the last couple I just want to show on the screen here. Waves would caught my eye on the weekly. I'm watching Waves, one of the old school cryptos. Yes, we have a death cross. We could get rejected down, but it's getting at a level I'm getting interested in. So it's obviously not an uptrend. It's in the downtrend. We get this low, high, low, high. If it pulls back down to 126 or $1 or even below that, I might get in on this one. If it sets a higher low, then I need to get in before it moons and rockets to the sky. I'm watching Waves very closely. Zilliqa as well. Zilliqa. So I'll make clear that on this chart, because I'm not in control of the price, I'm just calling out what I see on the charts with less bias. Is it oversold? No, it is not oversold. Right now, we rallied. I'm talking about future profits, right? That's what everybody wants. They want to make money in the future, or they want to make money like now, in tomorrow. So everyone's talking about like, ooh, I want to make a trade this week, or I want to make an investment this week. People always ask me that. But I am not in control of the price. I'm in control of my account and my charts. That's what I can control. I can control myself. So I would advise people is just because you see green on the watch list, just because you see your friends talking about green on social media, is, investigate for yourself is what I would recommend. Now, Zilliqa, 0.88, beautiful, is starting its ascent rally just above this 12 EMA here. If we can hold this 12 EMA, that'd be nice, right here above the 2-cent range. Higher high, higher low. If it pulls back all the way down, okay, fine. Bear's got us there. But it looks like it wants to turn around. If we get double bottom, beautiful. Let's moon to 9 cents. I'm watching Zilliqa. I'll just go down a little faster. I'm watching Theta as well. Raven is the big one that caught my eye. It's probably the best weekly chart that I saw here. Why? Double bottom. Double bottom. And it's not even the full retrace of the double bottom. That's supposed to be a 174% move. This thing still has 75% gains left in it. It might pull back, but the roof is up here. Has it broken out of the roof? It has not. We double bottom after here. That's a huge range though, negative 40% down, and it's kind of in the middle here, but at the same time, I like this chart. I definitely like this chart. If we can maintain this level, wonderful. Possibly it might spike up to 100% in the future. I like it though. Good setup. We have all these targets to try to test. 0.88, 76, 618, all up in here. Anyone who's trying to put that risk, just understand the short term. Yeah, we're probably gonna come down. So that's why I'm getting this education chart out there ahead of time. So if it does dip, pull back, people know, oh, maybe I'll buy some of that dip anywhere in here. And then I might try to hold Raven coin for a year. Last time this happened, Raven coin, let's see. 122%. So literally, there is potential. Another one that caught my eye, One Harmony, not quite the best, but it's a very similar. And I did show back then, this would have stopped out, but I honestly, if I traded this, I would have bought again and then played this. But we'll see where we pull back. Nice, beautiful rally. Might pull back down to 2.4 before we get a nice little rally attempt. All right, let's look at all these much faster. Sometimes I like to just relax for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just look at the charts. That's the fun part about charting. You're kind of like treasure hunting. That's how I view it. You're hunting for good charts, good companies. Litecoin. This is what I'm saying about Litecoin is this is the LTCN. If you're only a stocks only person, you want some crypto exposure, I might buy some more Litecoin, Grayscale Litecoin Trust because of the halving that's happening in 6 months from now. And this kind of looks like some kind of bottoming formation. I was talking to somebody else last weekend. Where do I want to buy? In point A, B, or C, right? A, B, or C. Which one is kind of the lowest? Looks like the lowest? To me, it looks like C, right? So even if it's going to crash down again, okay, no problem, no problem. But if this is the breakout, this is basically could be the bottom of this coin, which is why I like it. And what's the upside potential? Is hundreds of percent. Excuse me. Could go like 200 to 500%, right? You start getting excited about these kind of charts. Ethereum is different. ETHE here on this grayscale, it fell out of this lower low here. On this lower low. Not the greatest chart. Would have been nicer if we held here, double bottomed, and then rallied up here. But that would mean Ethereum would go to like $3,000. So still in the downtrend, but it's almost at pandemic lows on this particular stock. So crypto stock, so I'm interested. GBTC2 is below this 5 years trend line. That's why I am not completely convinced yet of the rally on Bitcoin. So we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Is that medium term, short term, we might come down. Long term, we could go up, but Bitcoin still needs to close above that 25,000. Once we kind of close above that And then if the price goes up a little bit on this GBTC, you might see the rally. Kilo SHIB crashing back down to support. Refresh chat. VTHO, VChain Thor is a very small crypto company as well. But I'm also keeping my eye on this. When VChain Thor really goes, it goes. So there could be 100% move here. This kind of reminds me of like a DOT or an AVAX play. It's still so low. I like this chart. I like it because there's actually room for a reversal pattern and for like a year. Then it's just the patience game. Can I wait 1 year to get my 200%, or the stop loss is what, negative 30%? Like a 7-to-1 play if I just wait for it. Request Network, REQ. Smaller crypto, but just want to point out on the weekly, we had this multiple double bottom here. Sort of reminds me a little bit of Robinhood chart. What's the move here? 33%. 33%. Try to get that 15-cent target. Xeno as well. Hopefully this is some kind of bottoming out attempt. Flux already had its double bottom. Sushi going sideways. Kyber rallying to resistance. ONT was at a lowest point. This is an old altcoin. This is like a 5 years old. This is popular 5 years ago, but it's still low. Upside of 100%. I like that. I like that. See, these are the plays that I like. And what's the stop loss? Crypto. That should have been 15 cents. %33% stop loss. So this is not all in play, but still, you can see the 3-to-1 ratio. Storage, nearing that bottom. Zen as well. This is like 93% off Zen, right? So you're seeing that we're getting to the zone where people are just buying because it's cheap, just because it's discounted. And if things are going to turn out good a year from now, we're all going to be wishing that we bought tons of crypto if it goes up, right? So that's why I'm already getting to that mindset, looking way forward ahead of time. ZRX, 15 cents. Is that low? Where is the target? 40 cents. Now, this one already bounced. But still, it bounced off what? A low support for 3 years. Very suspicious. Once it pulls back and we get done with that, can it go 100%? Oh, definitely. Yes, it can. Just broke out of a small trend line here. Just broke out of that small trend line. Love to see it. We were talking about Ravencoin. Anchor didn't really retrace that much, so I'm not really interested in Anchor, but it's definitely still possible if somebody likes this coin. 1 inch. Wow, very low. Qdom making an attempt. YFI. Somebody asked me for YFI last year, so let me clarify this. Is YFI in the sim triangle? Somebody asked me, I think it was like here, and I think it was 20,000. So now that after it's crashed so much, higher low, YFI is tracking Ethereum correlation. So you could easily see it could come down to make upside down head and shoulders before we blast off to about 10,000 YFI. ICX, double bottom. I like this. Almost near support level. Love it. Comp as well, nice double bottom area, but it's actually in a parallel channel. I'll watch out for that. It's a huge channel, 100% range. I'm going over because I just like these charts that I'm seeing. We're starting to see some real developments. We have a higher low bounce or lower high bounce depending on what your perspective is, but there is hope. Just don't want to FOMO too hard in the short term. Okay, the other chart I did want to present. Now you can see when we're hunting for setups, all of a sudden charts bounce. They pop out to me. Like Neo looks completely different than like 20 charts I just looked at. I like Raven. I like Neo. Why? Because it's that support. 5 years support bounce. This is such a powerful play. If this thing could rally like 10x at a best. So I'm really excited about Neo if this is the real bottom because we've been waiting for this bottom for like 3 years. That's why I like this a lot. But we don't want to get too excited because if it pulls back, what's that? What's the range? The stop loss pullback down here is like negative 30%. But still, I would risk negative 30% to try to make positive 1000%. That's what every crypto trader dreams of, right? It's happened to me before, but if it's going to happen again, it's just a matter of time. It could take like a long time for this thing to go sideways, is what I'm saying, right? This box, copy paste the box, could take a while. But let's not forget about Neo. Maker, nice bounce off of the support low. Phantom is, somebody asked me about Phantom last week. Just watch out for this. It's a little too overextended. A little too overextended. We just got that golden cross with the bearish momentum. So a lot of cryptos, again, in the short term, medium term, are probably going to come down. Long term, we might see it go up. Bitcoin Cash tracking Bitcoin. Link still going sideways. Uni consolidating. That's what I'm saying. People anticipating the Litecoin happening. So this is already a wonderful play. Now it's a question of how high can we go? 618 is my target in the like 6 months or a year out from now. So 60 more percent possibly. You might see like a November 2020 type of price action, right? Big rally, big pullback down, and then dip buyers are going to enter. If that happens, I will probably enter more. Cosmos with a higher low. Matic is a little too high for me. I'm not huge about Matic. Okay, let's look at QNT. QNT, somebody asked me for QNT. Now, QNT can be interpreted in multiple ways. I'm on a weekly chart, by the way. On a weekly chart, if I look at it from a bullish lens, upside down head and shoulders, neckline, potential bullish. What would that move be? 200% if you wait. 100 to 200%, but that's Bitcoin needs to go up. Very unlikely QNT is going to go up by itself. Now, what in the short term, in the medium term, what do we need to watch out for? loss of support. If we lose the support, it's tightening, right? Even crypto traders are like, we're maybe, maybe. All right. So the downside target, just to let you know on the stream, is $100 down here. Downside target. If it holds above 125 and Bitcoin moons this week or this month, then you could see it rally to like a $200. People don't realize that altcoins, it's all a response to Bitcoin. So, it's not separate. I want to hopefully make that clear to people is that altcoins, they live in the Bitcoin universe, so to speak. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're still the big top market cap coins. So what I've learned over my experience for 5 years now is to not hyper focus on one coin in isolation. Like don't fantasize, obsess over a chart for, an hour and ignore everything else that's happening on the earth. Crypto exists in the same reality as the US government. Crypto exists with stocks and real estate and inflation and foreign exchange currencies, right? So I view like one altcoin is just one asset out of like 10,000 assets on earth. It's just that it's very accessible. So, but that being said, this is not the cleanest uptrend, right? It has some troubles here in the end of 2022. So obviously not everybody's hopping into this one. Like more people hopped into Solana, more people hopped into Litecoin than this one. So it really needs, the entire market needs to go up for this QNT to go up. Okay. All right. I did a lot of requests, went over answer a lot of questions, and the chat went silent for now. So thanks so much everybody for tuning in. Today we went over stocks and crypto, earnings, investment plays, education, knowledge, information. So thank you again. I'm live streaming every Sunday night on my time on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. We also have a Discord group where I provide a free watch list of what I'm looking at and news. Always remember, watch out for the short-term FOMO. Let's always remember the big picture of if the market's going to go up 1 year from now, a lot of these cryptos and stocks look good priced to me, right? It depends on that macroeconomic environment. If everything basically major improves in your country and my country, then stock prices, crypto prices should rise over time. Just watch out for this short-term pullback. All right, everybody. Hope you have a nice trading investment week, and I'll see you next Sunday night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.